Traveling abroad is supposed to be one of the most exciting experiences of a person's life, a chance to see new places, explore different cultures, and create memories that last forever. But for some tourists, a dream trip turned into the final and most terrifying moment of their lives. In this video, we're looking at 5 real stories of tourists who died in shocking, tragic, and unforgettable ways while traveling overseas. From vacationers who wandered into dangerous places to tourists caught in free adventures, violent attacks, and situations they never could have predicted, these cases show how quickly paradise can become a nightmare. Some of these deaths made international headlines. Others left families searching for answers in a foreign country. Here are 5 real-life cases of tourists who suffered some of the worst deaths abroad. Sorrow. It was December 10th, 2023, in Medellin, Colombia. Tao GEONG, a 50-year-old comedian and Hmong community activist from Minnesota, was on a trip he had taken many times before. Known for his humor and dedication to cultural diversity, GEONG loved Colombia. He often visited to enjoy the holidays and connect with friends, but this trip would be his last. Tao GEONG was born in Laos in 1973. His family fled to Thailand as refugees when he was 2 years old. After 4 years in a refugee camp, they resettled in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1975. GEONG grew up in the Twin Cities, becoming a beloved figure in the Hmong community. He was the valedictorian of his class at Humboldt High School and graduated from Carleton College with a degree in political science. Known as America's only Hmong comedian, GEONG used his platform to celebrate cultural diversity and fight for justice. On that December evening, GEONG went out to meet a woman he had connected with on social media. They arranged to meet in a public place, a common practice in Medellin, known for both its beauty and its dangers. GEONG was cautious, but he couldn't have foreseen the horrific events that would follow. As the evening progressed, GEONG found himself surrounded by a group of men. They kidnapped him, tied him up, and took him to an apartment in the Robledo area of Medellin. The men took his credit card, cell phone, and wallet. They demanded a $2,000 ransom, approximately 8 million Colombian pesos. GEONG managed to call his brother A back in the United States. His voice was filled with fear as he relayed the kidnappers' demands. The family, desperate to save GEONG, quickly gathered the money and sent it to a woman's account as instructed by the kidnappers. But the payment did not secure his release. On December 11, 2023, GEONG's lifeless body was discovered in a wooded area. He had been brutally stabbed over a dozen times, suffered blunt force trauma to the head, and was thrown from a 60-foot height. The news of GEONG's death shocked the St. Paul community. Friends, family, and local officials expressed their grief and outrage. GEONG's family also released a statement, expressing their heartbreak and calling for justice. Authorities in Colombia acted swiftly. 3 adults and a teenager were arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping for extortion and aggravated homicide. The suspects were identified as Charit Gisela Mejia Martinez, Santiago Bustamante Londono, and Andres Hincapié Obregón. All 3 denied the charges, but a 17-year-old had already confessed to his involvement in the crime. He was transferred to a special detention center for minors. The details of GEONG's final hours were harrowing. Held at gunpoint, tied up, and stabbed repeatedly, he endured unimaginable terror. Despite the family's swift payment of the ransom, the kidnappers showed no mercy. The brutality of the crime shocked everyone who knew him. GEONG's memorial service was held over 3 days in accordance with Hmong tradition. Hundreds of mourners gathered to say their goodbyes. His brother A spoke about GEONG's deep love for his community and his unwavering spirit in fighting for justice. "It's sad, my family is sad," he said, "but we are glad that we can finally put closure to his life here and then move beyond this point." At the funeral, friends and family remembered GEONG for his humor, kindness, and dedication. He had given over 1,600 presentations across 48 states, spreading laughter and cultural awareness. GEONG's impact extended far beyond Minnesota. He was known for his activism, particularly in the Hmong community. He had organized protests, such as in 2007, when he called for justice after a white man killed a Hmong hunter in Wisconsin. In 2021, he supported a rally for a Hmong man killed by law enforcement in California. He also helped build solidarity between the Hmong community and the Black Lives Matter movement. U.S. Senators Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar both expressed their condolences. and assured the public that their offices were working with authorities to ensure justice for XIONG. In the wake of XIONG's death, his family announced plans to establish a foundation in his name. The foundation would continue XIONG's work in promoting cultural diversity and social justice. As the investigation continued, the community rallied together, sharing stories and memories of XIONG. His life, though tragically cut short, had left a mark on everyone he met. His ability to bring people together through humor and storytelling was unmatched. It was July 16, 2024, at the Kumbhe waterfall in Manjurn, India. AANVI KAMDAR, a 27-year-old travel influencer from Mumbai, was visiting this location with her friends. AANVI was known for her lively travel content, which she shared with her 300,000 Instagram followers. On this day, she was filming an Instagram reel near the waterfall when tragedy struck. AANVI was an adventurous person who loved exploring new places and sharing her experiences. Her Instagram bio described her as a detective for travel, luxury finds, cafes, itineraries, tips and feels. She had a passion for discovering hidden gems and providing travel advice to her followers. But this day, her passion for content creation led her to a fatal accident. The Kumbhe waterfall is a stunning sight, especially during the monsoon season when the water flow is at its peak. However, this beauty comes with danger. The rocks around the waterfall become extremely slippery and dangerous. AANVI, accompanied by her 6 friends, was well aware of the risks, but was determined to capture the perfect shot. As AANVI positioned herself at the top of the waterfall, she lost her footing and slipped. She tumbled down the 300-foot gorge, landing on a hard, slippery patch of rocks. Her friends were horrified and immediately called for help. The local authorities were notified and a rescue operation began. Rescuer Shantanu Kuveskar described the challenging conditions they faced. She fell on the hard, slippery patch of rocks around 300 feet into the valley and couldn't be spotted initially, he said. The rescuers had to use a vertical pulley system to retrieve her. 6 rescuers climbed down the hill while another 50 assisted from above. It took them 6 hours to finally pull AANVI out of the gorge. AANVI was still alive when they found her. She was responsive and placed on a ventilator for transport to the Mangaon Taluka Government Hospital. Despite the best efforts of the medical team, AANVI succumbed to her injuries shortly after arrival. The news of AANVI's death spread quickly and her followers were devastated. Her final Instagram post, shared a day before the accident, listed 5 cheap and uncongested spots in India to visit during the monsoons. The comment section of this post was flooded with messages of grief and condolences. Fellow travel influencers expressed their sorrow and support for her family. Please, let's focus on praying for her soul to rest in peace and remember the joy and positivity she brought to our lives, commented fellow travel influencer Akanksha Manga. She was an extremely responsible traveler. It was an accident, could have happened to anyone, added food influencer Shreya Sangvi. AANVI's death also sparked a debate about the risks influencers take to create content. Some criticized her for risking her life for an Instagram reel, while others defended her, emphasizing that it was a tragic accident that could have happened to anyone. Local officials issued warnings to tourists, urging them to exercise caution while visiting the area, especially during the rainy season. Suhas Diwas, the district collector of Pune, advised the public to avoid water bodies during the monsoon season due to the increased danger. I appeal to the public to be responsible and not go near any waterfalls or streams. We have issued advisories and the management has asked us to handle any sort of incident, Diwas said. AANVI KAMDAR was more than just a travel influencer. She was a chartered accountant who had worked with Deloitte. Her friends and family remember her as a kind person who loved to share her experiences and inspire others to explore the world. Her social media presence was filled with colorful photos of her travels to places like Turkey, Azerbaijan, and the Maldives. AANVI's journey was one of exploration and adventure, and her followers were captivated by her enthusiasm and detailed travel guides. In the aftermath of AANVI's death, there were calls for better safety measures and awareness for tourists visiting such locations. The desire for capturing the perfect shot should not go beyond the importance of safety and caution. It was October 25, 2023, in Indonesia's Limpakuwus pine forest. The GEONG Bridge, a glass-bottom walkway supported by 2 giant golden hands, was a major tourist attraction. Spanning 30 feet or 10 meters above the forest, its clear floor gave visitors thrilling views below and made it a popular spot for photos. That Wednesday morning, a group of 11 tourists from Cilacap, Central Java, gathered to walk the bridge. The atmosphere seemed calm as they stepped onto the transparent structure, unaware of the danger awaiting them. At around 10 a.m., the glass panel suddenly gave way. The shattering glass echoed through the forest, followed by the terrified screams of visitors. 4 tourists fell as the structure collapsed. 2 of them plummeted to the ground below. Tragically, one of them was pronounced dead at the scene. The other miraculously survived with only minor injuries. The remaining 2 were thrown off balance but managed to hold on to the bridge's frame, clinging desperately to avoid falling. Onlookers rushed to pull the 2 to safety. Meanwhile, another tourist who had fallen managed to climb back onto the bridge, while the lifeless body of the deceased victim lay below. Video footage captured the chaos, showing both the rescue efforts and the grim aftermath. As investigations began, it became clear that the tragedy wasn't a random accident, but the result of neglect. Concerns about the bridge's safety had been raised months before. In April 2023, Ika Purnomo, chairman of the Limpakawus Pine Forest Cooperative, urged the bridge's management to evaluate the structure after visitors raised concerns about its stability. However, the manager failed to take these warnings seriously. Instead of attending a meeting to address the issue, he sent a representative who left without discussing the matter. Despite the clear warnings, no meaningful action was taken to inspect or strengthen the bridge. This negligence raised serious questions about the bridge's maintenance and safety standards. The collapse quickly became a national issue. Local police sealed off the area as a crime scene and launched an investigation. The Limpakawus Pine Forest, which operates separately from the GEONG bridge, was temporarily closed for further safety inspections. The tragedy also brought attention to the growing trend of glass-bottom walkways. While these attractions offer breathtaking views, they pose risks when safety is compromised. Tourists often trust that such structures are secure, but incidents like this reveal how quickly things can go wrong. This was not the first time glass walkways had raised concerns. In 2021, a man in China was left clinging to the side of a glass bridge after strong winds damaged the structure. Though he was rescued, the event highlighted the potential dangers of these attractions. In the case of the GEONG bridge, the tragedy might have been prevented if safety concerns had been taken seriously. Several visitors had already voiced complaints on social media, yet their warnings went unaddressed. Critics argued that the management failed in its responsibility to prioritize visitor safety. The structural failure also highlighted the importance of material quality in glass-bottom walkways. These structures must be strong enough to hold the weight of multiple visitors. When even a single panel breaks, there's little time to react, as seen in this incident where 4 people were affected instantly. As the investigation continues, many are questioning how often such attractions are inspected and whether existing safety measures are sufficient. Could more rigorous inspections and prompt action have saved lives? Unfortunately, these questions remain unanswered. For now, the tragedy has sparked calls for stricter safety regulations and better oversight of tourist attractions, especially those with unconventional designs like glass walkways. While these structures offer thrilling experiences, they also carry risks if not properly maintained. The loss of life on the GEONG bridge is a devastating reminder of what can happen when safety concerns are ignored. As authorities work to uncover more details, one thing is clear. Such incidents show the importance of prioritizing safety in tourist destinations. It was April 6, 2013, in the Kashmir Valley, India. Sarah Groves, a 24-year-old British backpacker, was on an adventure in this beautiful but disputed region. She had been in India since February, visiting her boyfriend Saeed Ahmad Shoda, and staying on the new beauty houseboat on Dal Lake in Srinagar. Sarah loved traveling and was always eager to explore new places. Sarah's parents, Vic and Kate Groves, were uneasy about her trip to Kashmir. The area was known for its unrest due to the ongoing territorial disputes between India and Pakistan. They had tried to dissuade her from going and even planned to meet her in Nepal to convince her to leave. On that day, Sarah's lifeless body was discovered in her room on the houseboat. She had been brutally stabbed 45 times. Her bloodied body, clutching a mobile phone, indicated she had tried to call for help. The scene was horrific, with puncture wounds and slashes all over her body. Dr. Farida Noor, head of forensics at Srinagar's General Medical College, described the injuries, highlighting that 2 fatal wounds, one to her neck and another that pierced her lung, caused her death. The rest were defensive wounds, suggesting Sarah had fought bravely against her attacker. The prime suspect, a 7-foot-tall Dutchman named Richard de Witt, was apprehended hours later, about 50 miles away. He was found shoeless and soaking wet, carrying only a passport and 2,000 pounds. De Witt had been staying in the room close to Sarah's on the houseboat. After the murder, He had stolen a rowing boat to escape, but it capsized, forcing him to swim to shore before he was able to hire a taxi to a nearby city. DeWitt initially confessed to the murder, claiming that the devil had compelled him to commit the heinous act. However, he later retracted his statement, proclaiming his innocence. Despite overwhelming evidence against him, DeWitt has managed to evade justice for over a decade. DeWitt, now 53 years old, has been described as a paranoid schizophrenic who refuses to take his medication. He has exhibited erratic behavior, such as taking off his clothes in cold weather and locking himself in the bathroom to avoid attending court hearings. He has fired 5 lawyers, claiming they were incompetent or in cahoots with the Dutch government. DeWitt believes the case against him is a fabrication by wicked people within the Dutch government, coming from his past involvement with a nationalist, anti-immigration political party in the Netherlands. Sarah's parents, Vic and Kate, have endured an excruciating decade of legal battles and emotional torment. They have attended 225 scheduled court dates, many of which were postponed or canceled. Witnesses have died or disappeared, and the Indian legal system has failed to build a watertight case against DeWitt. Floods in Kashmir have destroyed crucial evidence, and 2 judges assigned to the case have stepped down. Vic and Kate have been vocal about their frustration with the slow progress of the case and the lack of support from the British government. They have campaigned tirelessly for justice, but their efforts have been prevented at every turn. Vic, now 80, expressed his despair, saying, "We are not confident that it will ever conclude. The worst aspect of the last decade is that we are no longer a complete family. There is a massive gap in our lives that can never be filled. Sarah was 1 in a million, a wonderful person in every way who always considered others ahead of herself." Despite the Groves family's relentless pursuit of justice, DeWitt's antics and the difficult legal process have left them with little hope. DeWitt's behavior in custody has been unpredictable. He has shown no remorse for his actions and has even tormented Sarah's family with cryptic messages. In 2017, he told a court he had a secret about Sarah's murder, but would only reveal it to her parents, further adding to their anguish. The case has become a farce, with DeWitt manipulating the system to avoid standing trial. Doctors have concluded that he has a well-systematized delusional belief that he is being pursued by the Dutch government. He has refused to cooperate with his lawyers and has shown a complete disregard for the legal process. His wife, Thai national Uma Rupanya, revealed that DeWitt became increasingly paranoid and insecure before abandoning her and their 2 children to go traveling. His journey took him to Kenya, Dubai, and Nepal, before he eventually settled in Kashmir, where he committed the murder. The Groves family has also faced challenges with the Indian authorities. Vic criticized the authorities for not taking the trial seriously, noting that only a small percentage of the 225 scheduled hearings actually took place. The trial was suspended years ago after DeWitt was deemed unfit to stand trial. Despite their efforts to speed up the process of the case, the Groves family has been left in constant confusion. Sarah's father, Vic, told Mail Online, "There are some developments, and we are hopeful that there will be a conclusion that offers some level of closure. No further comment on this at this stage." The family has set up the Sarah Groves Foundation to keep her memory alive and support art, fitness, and adventure in young people's lives, areas that were close to Sarah's heart. On the 10th anniversary of Sarah's murder, Vic told ITV that he had all but given up hope that DeWitt would be brought to trial. He criticized the British government for their lack of involvement, saying, "We are unavoidably wrapped up in international politics, and we have a British government who haven't stood by us. Nothing has worked out in our favor as the political situation between federal India and Kashmir is at an all-time low." It was October 17, 2022, in the Belen Los Alpes neighborhood of Medellin, Colombia. Nicholas Vincent Flats, a 56-year-old from Springfield, Massachusetts, was an avid traveler and runner. He had rented an apartment there on September 22, 2022. Nicholas had visited Medellin before in 2018 and 2021, and his social media was filled with images from his trips to Colombia, Mexico, and Brazil. Neighbors knew Nicholas as friendly and sociable. By the second week of October, they noticed something odd. Nicholas hadn't been seen for several days. Calls to his phone went unanswered, and a foul odor began to emanate from his apartment, growing stronger each day. On October 17th, around 5:15 p.m., concerned neighbors decided to check on Nicholas. They knocked on his door but received no response. The smell was overwhelming. With no other choice, they forced their way into his 5th-floor apartment. They found Nicholas lying on his bed, lifeless and decomposing. The neighbors immediately called the police. Nicholas Vincent Flats was an American citizen born in Boston, Massachusetts, but he had lived in Springfield for many years. His social media profiles showcased his love for travel and running. Friends and family were used to seeing regular updates from him, documenting his adventures. NICOLAS had a routine of updating his social media and staying in touch with his loved ones. His sudden silence was out of character. Concern grew among his friends back home when they couldn't reach him. Calls and messages went unanswered. As days passed, worry turned into alarm, leading his neighbors in Medellin to take action. When the police entered the apartment, they were met with a terrifying scene. The body of Nicolas Flats was on his bed, and the smell indicated he had been dead for several days. The officers conducted a thorough search of the apartment, but found no signs of violence or forced entry. Everything appeared normal, except for the tragic discovery. The authorities transported Nicolas's body to the morgue for an autopsy. The results were crucial in determining the cause of his death. The initial lack of visible injuries left many questions unanswered. What could have led to the sudden death of a seemingly healthy man who was known for his active lifestyle? As news of Nicolas's death spread, it sent shockwaves through the expatriate community in Medellin and among his friends and family in the United States. Nicolas was the 27th foreigner to die in the Abura Valley that year, with 25 of those deaths occurring in Medellin. This statistic highlighted a concerning trend that local authorities were keen to address. In recent months, Medellin has seen an increase in crimes targeting foreigners. Criminals often used apps like Tinder to lure their victims. Just a few months prior, the Abura Valley Metropolitan Police had arrested 5 individuals, 3 women and 2 men, suspected of being part of a gang that targeted and extorted foreigners. These arrests were part of a broader effort by the police, the district attorney's office, and the mayor's office to crack down on such crimes. While there was no immediate evidence linking Nicolas's death to foul play, the authorities couldn't rule out any possibilities until the autopsy results were in. The case of Nicolas Flats drew significant media attention, with local and international outlets reporting on the mysterious circumstances surrounding his death. As the investigation continued, the focus shifted to the autopsy. The medical examiners needed to determine if Nicolas had died of natural causes, an accident, or something more sinister. The absence of visible injuries complicated the case, making the autopsy the key to unlocking the mystery. In the weeks following Nicolas's death, the authorities kept a close watch on the situation. They were determined to provide answers to his family and ensure the safety of other foreign visitors. Nicolas's family, devastated by the news, awaited the results of the autopsy with heavy hearts. They remembered him as a loving and adventurous spirit who embraced life to the fullest. His frequent travels and active lifestyle were proof that he lived a good life. Now they needed to know what had taken him from them so suddenly.